So this guy has been arrested for running a child sex slave farm. This guy became famous and was good friends with people like Bill Clinton, Naomi Campbell, and Oprah. He was selling babies on his child sex slave farm. There has been over 600 allegations of sexual assault against this man. Think about that number, 600, including from his own daughter.
Hey friends, thanks so very much for tuning in. Look, as you all know, YouTube has announced that it's going to start curbing traffic to videos like this one and any videos that deal with quote-unquote conspiracy theories. But it doesn't just stop with us YouTube creators. Basically, anyone who's watching our content will most likely be recorded, stored, and analyzed by the powers that be for viewing this content in the first place. Using a VPN is a really good idea in times like these. Virtual Shield is the easiest, fastest to use VPN, and they'll never sell your information to Big Brother. With the click of a button, Virtual Shield will change your IP address to a different location so that internet spies can't track you. And this month, Virtual Shield is offering 35% off all VPN plans and all premium add-ons, including Protection Plus, residential access, monthly maintenance, phone support, and VIP performance plans for as low as $3 per month. And don't forget about IdentiSafe, which allows you to block off your computer, microphone, and camera access from any spies or hackers. So do yourself a favor and keep your personal data personal with Virtual Shield. I'll leave the link below this video. And now, guys, without further ado, the one, the only, Liz Crokin. Liz, welcome back.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I got to tell you, I'm a little frustrated, to be honest with you, because the deep state seems to be winning.
Yeah. I mean, I've been there, so I totally know how you feel. I've taken a huge step back the month of January because I was really burnt out, and this does seem to be dragging on longer than I expected, but I disagree with you. I don't think the deep state is winning. If you listen to the mainstream media, you might think the deep state is winning, but there's a lot of stuff coming out and going on behind the scenes that the mainstream media is not reporting that keeps me confident that we are still winning and President Trump is winning and the White Hats are in control. So don't get too Debbie Downer on me.
No, I'm not. We're going to hold out hope here, and we're going to talk about some of the concrete examples of the good news that's taking place. But first, I want to just level set. Let's talk about the social media giants who are now aligned against we the people. YouTube just announced last week that they're going to change their algorithms to stop recommending any conspiracy-related videos. And since that announcement, I've watched my average view counts be cut by 70%. And it may be a coincidence, but I think more likely I'm being targeted by YouTube. And at the end of the day, if people can't find truth on YouTube, if they can't find truth from the alternative news media, Liz, where in the world are they going to find truth? What, from CNN, from MSNBC? That's what YouTube wants you to do. If you type in news right now to YouTube, the top search results are Sky News, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News. Nowhere to be found are the trending videos, the trending news videos, the stuff that people actually are seeking out and want to watch, the real news.
Well, the good news is that the fact that they're getting so aggressive with the censorship shows that we are winning. They're scared, they're cornered, the truth is coming out, more people are waking up, more people are following Q, the movement's getting bigger, the movement's getting stronger. What will be interesting to see is when Pizzagate blows wide open, Obamagate, the spying, the treason, what they do with unborn children, selling the baby body parts, what's going on with Planned Parenthood and what's going on in New York. When all this stuff blows wide open, which it's already starting to blow wide open, it'll be interesting to see how places like YouTube react, because the mainstream media, those people are the conspiracy theorists. People like us are actually telling the truth. So when it comes out that, hey, guess what? We've been right all along about everything we've said. What's going to happen then? What's YouTube going to go do then? They're going to have to then label all the outlets such as CNN, Fox News, literally every single mainstream media outlet as a conspiracy theory outlet, because they all lied. And they all said Pizzagate is fake. And they lied about thousands of other things too. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, as more and more of people like us are proven to not be conspiracy theorists, but are proven to be right. And it'll be really interesting to see if places such as YouTube even survive the storm. Because honestly, Sean, look what happened with Backpage, okay? President Trump's DOJ, they shut down Backpage almost a year ago because they were trafficking kids. There are so many multimedia organizations out there that are directly involved with trafficking kids, and or they're allowing child porn on their networks. Twitter and Facebook are both guilty. So I'm not convinced that these platforms will even exist anymore at some point. I think that there's a good chance that a lot of these social media outlets, such as Facebook, such as Twitter, and YouTube possibly might be shut down. And there's going to have to be new forums that are developed by good people, people who are not deep state, and people like us who are just solely interested in reporting the truth.
Yeah, I like your cup half full perspective. And this is why I love speaking with you, because you're helping to lift me up again. You know, we all fall and stumble now and again, right? It gets hard covering this information day in and day out. It takes a beating. Our souls take a beating because this is tough stuff. And, you know, I watched your latest update. So we're going to talk about the thief channels that are stealing your material and others in a minute. But first, let's stay on track with the Moloch level child sacrifice. You, of course, are always over the target talking about pedogate. You mentioned the abortion on demand in New York. It's absolutely Moloch-level Satanism, and I don't think it's ever been more clear that we are engaged in spiritual warfare with our foes. The people who oppose us seem to embrace Moloch. They seem to embrace, really, Satanism. Even if they're just atheists, they may not realize the things they evidently believe in. Abortion in the 9th month. While the woman's dilating, she could choose to have an abortion. It's child sacrifice. It is off the hook. And that criminal governor in New York, Cuomo, wanted to celebrate the passage of that bill that the New York senators, Liz, all cheered for, celebrate the passage of that abortion on demand bill in the 9th month by lighting up the spire atop the World Trade Center pink.
That's so sick. So what the Democrats have done pretty successfully with abortion is, for years, and even when I was a teenager, they had me a little fooled, not completely, but a little fooled, because they have been very aggressive and they've been very successful at convincing women that abortion is about your right, your body, your right to do what you want with your body. And they've also done a very good job at convincing people that if a baby is inside your body, it's not a valuable life and it's not, you know, a viable human being. That's what they've been very successful at convincing naive people. But when we dig deeper into the motives behind abortion and Planned Parenthood, what we learn is, number one, the founder of Planned Parenthood was a racist, and her name is Margaret Sanger, and her goal was to exterminate the Black race. She literally was for eugenics and wanted to get rid of the Black race, and they targeted Black communities. Okay, so your average Joe Schmo has no idea that Planned Parenthood was founded by an open racist, number one. Number two, what, you know, young naive women that go in there to get abortions don't understand is what they do with the aborted fetuses. And what they're doing, Sean, is these people are, well, first of all, they look at every single abortion as a sacrifice to Moloch, okay? So you're spot on about that. These people that run Planned Parenthood and the Democrats, people in power, these people are full-blown Satanists, and they know exactly what they're doing. And what they believe, their religion, they worship Satan, they believe that when they sacrifice a child to Moloch, they get power from that. So the more children they can sacrifice, the better, because the more money, fame, power they get from that. It's a religion to them. This is a spiritual thing. That's what Moloch is all about. So number one, if they can convince some naive person who was raped or, you know, got pregnant by accident, you know, that this is about your body, you know, that life doesn't begin at conception, then if they can convince that person, they become a pawn basically of Satan. That's what people don't understand. So number one, the abortions, the Democratic Party, the Democrats, They look at abortion as a sacrifice to Moloch, so they're getting power from that. Number two, what they do with the fetuses, it's a black market business. So what they do with the fetuses is they're selling them on the black market, and they're selling the body parts on the black market. And we know the Satanists are into drinking blood. They're into adrenochrome. They're into all kinds of crazy stuff. And if you want to go further down the rabbit hole in terms of what they're doing with these aborted fetuses, is they're putting some of them in our food supplies. Some of these aborted fetuses end up in Pepsi products. So what they're also doing is they're trying to turn us unwillingly into cannibals. It is so sick. And most people have no idea that any of this stuff is going on. Now, the good news is that the Democrats are becoming so brazen and about what they're doing that they're not even hiding it anymore. There are actual Democratic legislators talking about killing a baby after it's been delivered on a table. That's where they're going now. So they're not even talking about killing babies in the womb anymore. They're talking about now killing babies that have been successfully delivered, that are healthy, that were pushed into a doctor's hands. That's where they're going now. And I'm happy they're going there, because people are finally starting to wake up to how evil they are. They're actually finally admitting how evil they are. They have no problem murdering babies. They're all about murdering babies. They're for it. Because again, when you look at what they believe and what they worship, which is Satan, Moloch, they believe they get power from this. This is what they believe in. This is their religion. So the good news, though, is that what is going on in New York, I know you follow Joanne, but Joanne pointed this out. What's going on in New York, the law that was just passed in New York to abort a baby at 9 months, that will probably go all the way up to the Supreme Court. And there's a good chance that and I believe Roe versus Wade will get overturned. You know, I'm a huge fan of Mark Taylor. Mark Taylor prophesied that under Trump's administration, Roe versus Wade will be overturned. So all the stuff that the Democrats are pushing right now about abortion, late-term abortions, and even abortions after babies have been delivered, they're being exposed. And there are people that are liberals and moderates that are waking up in droves, and they're coming to our side. So I do believe all of this is a blessing in disguise, and that it's already having a boomerang effect. And ultimately, this could be the catalyst that overturns Roe v. Wade. And how amazing would that be?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it would be amazing, because now we know that Roe lied. She's a born-again Christian, and she says she was never raped now. So that whole case hinged upon her rape, which never happened. Let me say a couple of things here. There is an awakening, you're right, because in Virginia, they tried to introduce the exact same abortion on demand in the 9th-month bill. Criminal Democrat Kathy Tran is on video exposing her bill that she introduced as, yes, allowing a baby to be aborted literally during childbirth.
Where it's obvious that a woman is about to give birth. She has physical signs that she is about to give a birth. Would that still be a point at which she could request an abortion if she was so certified? She's dilating.
Mr. Chairman, that would be a decision that the doctor, the physician, and the woman would
I understand
make at
that. I'm
that
asking
point.
if your bill allows that.
My bill would allow that, yes.
While the woman's dilating, if she changes her mind and wants an abortion. And I think she was so browbeaten by the public that she shut down her Twitter and her Facebook page, because she took an ass kicking, because people have had enough of this stuff. I want to say one other thing too. You mentioned the sweeteners with aborted fetal tissue in them. The sweetener company, guys, is called, it's biotech giant Sinomyx, Senomyx. They love to play these word games. Mix.
I know. They love
the ultimate sin would be aborting these babies and then using their tissue as sweeteners in the products we consume. Guys, go to the website, Senomyx, Senomyx, and look at the incredible number of food products in your pantry, in your kitchen, that have this sweetener in it, and you don't even know it. This is absolute in-our-face Satanism. It's satanic.
And they're trying to turn us against our will and unwittingly and unknowingly into Satanists by having us become cannibals, by putting this crap in our food supply, you know? So it's just wild, and it's all starting to trickle out slowly. And, you know, there will be a day when this stuff does go mainstream and people will take to the streets. When they find out that they're drinking aborted baby fetuses and what they're really doing with these children on the black market, yeah, like people will start taking to the streets, and it is all slowly starting to come out. Now that we're talking about the black market and babies, I just want to talk about this real quickly because I think it's so important. I'm sure you saw the guy, John of God, who was running a child sex slave farm.
No. No. And by the way, when you mentioned Joe M earlier, that's Joe Messapos, and he's the guy behind the video, Cue the Plan to Save the World. But what is this latest news item? I didn't hear about this.
Okay, so this is huge. So this is good too. So this is another another positive revelation that shows that things are going in the right direction. Okay, so there's a guy named John of God, and he's a healer, and his real name is, I think it's pronounced Joe Texiria de Faria, but he's known as John of God. Now, he's a quote-unquote healer from South America, from Brazil. And he shot into superstardom after, guess who featured him on her show? Oprah. So Oprah featured him on her show as this hero, and that he's like this healer, and apparently he can, you know, do surgeries without using anesthesia on people and perform miracles and all this stuff, all right? And he became this global name and this huge success because of Oprah's promotion, all right? Now, this man has worked with Naomi Campbell and Bill Clinton. And I'm pointing out those two names because both Naomi Campbell and Bill Clinton were frequent flyers on the Lolita Express. The Lolita Express is the jet that's owned by none other than serial child rapist and child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, who ran a child sex trafficking island, and both Naomi and Bill Clinton went to that island, okay? So this guy has been arrested for running a child sex slave farm. This is just absolutely unbelievable, Sean. Again, this guy became famous and was good friends with people like Bill Clinton, Naomi Campbell, and Oprah. Listen to this. He was selling babies on his child sex slave farm. There has been over 600 allegations of sexual assault against this man. Think about that number, 600, including from his own daughter. She's accused him of raping her, okay? He would bring young mothers, some of these mothers' children, minors, to this sex slave farm, and he would have them, they would be raped, and they would push out babies for 10 years, and then he'd murder them.
God. Yeah, I've got an article up here from the Daily Mail. It says the faith healer kept teenagers as sex slaves and sold their babies for up to 40,000 euros. And so Oprah couldn't vet this, right? Her team had no idea about this guy and his background at all. Give me a break.
Sean, Oprah can't even vet her own school, her own teachers, her own students. Oprah owns a school in Africa that's been plagued by child sexual abuse, and there was a dead baby found in one of the students' backpacks. So, you know, it's people say Pizzagate's fake, and then you look at this man and who he was propped up by, who he runs with, Bill Clinton, Naomi Campbell, Oprah. These people stick together, they run in the same circles, and they all know what's going on. Oprah knows what's going on. She was close with Harvey Weinstein. She's close with Kevin Spacey. There is no way in hell that Oprah does not know this stuff is going on, okay? And most people that are aligned with these people are a part of it. They're all in the club. So the reason why this is such a big deal is because these connections, this isn't just some random guy in South America. This man was hanging out with A-list celebrities. he was hanging out with former presidents, you know? And it just goes to show that there are so many powerful people involved in the child sex trafficking and Pizzagate. And there's more and more stories coming out every single day that back it up. And it's getting harder and harder to deny. You know, when all of your friends are rapists and they're trafficking kids and they're pedophiles, and they're selling babies, they're selling body parts. Sean, I don't know anyone that's doing that. No one, not one person. I don't have one friend that's been guilty of any of that. And you look at these elites and everyone they hang out with, they're all involved in this garbage. So it's just like I said, there's going to come a point where so much of the stuff is coming out. The mainstream media is not going to be able to deny it anymore.
God, but they're so complicit in covering it all up. And I think that's the reason I'm having a hard time today. You know, in our pre-call, I was telling you I was feeling a little down and a little frustrated. And I always like speaking with you because you have such optimism and you speak truth, right? There aren't that many people in my daily life that I can have these conversations with because most people aren't equipped with the knowledge to be able to have the conversations, right? They don't even know what Moloch is. They don't know what the Federal Reserve is, and they don't know what satanic bankers are. But here's the thing. The media is absolutely complicit in covering this stuff up. And the ultimate bitter pill I wanted to get your thoughts on today, because this is the perfect segue to this, is Skippy Podesta the Molesta is back in the public sphere. He was on CFR member Aaron Burnett's show on CNN, and he was gloating. This guy, who Andrew Breitbart called a world-class underage sex slave op cover-upper defending unspeakable drugs back in 2011, was on CNN gloating about the arrest of Roger Stone. And that's just the ultimate bitter pill for me, Liz. The guy should be in Gitmo.
He should be, and it's frustrating. I was hoping that he was already there, and they just hadn't announced it yet. It is. I saw the video came on. It was on the TV when I was home, and I had to mute it because I can't stand his voice. And I get physically ill seeing his picture. Just seeing his picture, I get ill, let alone hearing his creepy voice. But you know, here's the good news about John Podesta. Whenever he tweets, you go to that tweet, every single comment is "you're a pedophile." Every single one is calling him out. There's not one positive comment on anything he tweets these days, and this has been going on for months now.
That's right.
So the people are awake. Okay, that's the good news. That even though he's still propped up by the mainstream media a little bit, at least by CNN, he doesn't have one supporter on Twitter. I mean, I track his tweets, and I haven't seen one person tweet one positive thing to him or about him in months. Okay, even his freaky cabal friends, you know, aren't supporting him publicly. So that's number one. And number two, you know, the stuff with Roger Stone, you know, I know you follow Q. It's all smoke and mirrors. And again, Joe M., who has some of the best analysis, and I believe this to be true, he says that the reason why they had that raid broadcasted on CNN is to prepare the public for when these kinds of raids go down on the real targets and the real criminals. And the part of the storm that I think is so hard and difficult for both of us to deal with is how slow it's going for us, because we've been awake for a very long time. But what I understand from all my analysis of how President Trump and Q is handling the storm is that a huge aspect of the storm is optics and is preparing the public. So when the mass arrest do happen and, you know, SHIT really hits the fan, there's the least amount of chaos, civil unrest, people taking to the streets. That is why it is going so slowly. They are slowly trying to prepare people for what's coming. And what's coming is the mass arrest of the real criminals, such as Hillary Clinton, John Podesta, his brother, Brennan, all those horrible guys. Oh, no, sorry, now my phone's ringing. So I believe that the stuff with Roger Stone, that's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and I don't know details about what actually is going on behind the situation with Roger Stone. But as Q says, we're watching a movie. This is a show. And for the past 2 years, President Trump has had no problem allowing the mainstream media paint him as the bad guy and paint him as the one that's colluding with Russia. He actually has preferred that, because these past 2 years, when they've been so busy with Russia and Russia, you know, President Trump colluded with Russia, which we all know is BS and a lie, and the dossier was fake and paid for by the DNC and Hillary Clinton, blah, blah, blah. He's been actually happy that they've been focused on that, because he's not guilty of anything. He didn't collude with Russia. And since they have been so hyper-focused on that, he's been able to take down so many pedophiles. He's been able to get so many judges in. I just read that he's getting his judges in the Ninth Circuit, which that's pretty much game over. He's been able to get so much work done without the media bothering him or even really knowing what he's doing, because they've been so hyper-focused on a story that's a complete lie, you know? And so all of this stuff is going to boomerang, and it already is boomeranging. I mean, it just came out yesterday. You know, the media had been saying that when Trump met with, you know, those Russian associates, his phone records showed that he was talking to his dad that day, proving that he was trying to collude with Russia. Well, the phone records just came out. He wasn't talking to his dad. And President Trump tweeted about this last night. So the truth is all coming out. And you know, a lot of the stuff that's going on right now, I truly believe it's theater. The stuff with Roger Stone, I truly believe Joe is right about that. That is to prepare people for seeing that kind of a visual, raids, high-profile people getting arrested. And because we're not the snowflakes, because we're not the ones that are unhinged, when we see someone like Roger Stone, who appears to be on our side, get arrested and get raided like he did, we're not going to go out on the street and like scream in the sky and like, you know, loot stores and stuff. It's the people on the left that are unhinged and lunatics, and they do the crazy stuff. So unfortunately, the red pilling process and getting people prepared for what's about to come is painfully slow. And President Trump has been doing this with his team for 2 years now. They've slowly been releasing information and preparing people for what is about to come. And that's what's really going on with, you know, Roger Stone and all this other stuff. And, you know, another thing that should be noted is that, you know, people that I've been saying for almost 2 years now that I believe that Robert Mueller is working with Trump. You know, I don't know if he was a black hat, a gray hat, if he was blackmailed, or maybe he was always a white hat and he was forced to do things he didn't want to do. But I believe President Trump said, you can work with me or against me, but if you work against me, you're going to end up at Gitmo. So you either work with me to take down the real witch of the witch hunt, who is Hillary Clinton, or you're going to end up in Gitmo. Any sane, smart, reasonable, rational person would take that deal and say, all right. And Robert Mueller has not commented on anything in 2 years, nothing. And I get a lot of slack for saying I believe Mueller is working with President Trump. Yeah, I've gotten a ton of slack for it. But anyways, Mueller hasn't commented on anything in 2 years. His office has commented on nothing.
They did comment on the fake news coming out of BuzzFeed, though.
That's what I was just going to say. So the only thing they've commented on in 2 years was to defend President Trump.
Yeah, you know what? I pray to God you're right, Liz, but we're running out of time here. This president isn't going to be in the White House very much longer. I mean, of course, unless he wins in 2020, which I see no reason that he wouldn't win in 2020 because the left has nobody. They got nothing. But I got to tell you, this bitter pill with John Podesta, this world-class criminal, who, by the way, was the chair of Hillary's 2016 presidential campaign, and he served as counselor to Obama and chief of staff to Clinton. This deep state criminal was given a platform, of course, by Bezos' blog, WAPO, to write on January 25th this opinion piece. Let me just read a snippet of this for you because it's so despicable. He says, despite my Italian roots, vengeance doesn't run deep in my veins, but I admit I smiled when Roger Stone's arrest was announced Friday morning. By the way, CNN was there early. They were there even before the FBI at Roger Stone's house. Did you know that? to cover that is
Yeah.
all theater. And he says, to give some context, this is Podesta. On October 7th, 2016, WikiLeaks began leaking emails from my personal inbox that had been hacked by Russian intelligence operatives. Right there, he begins with a lie. We know it was Seth Rich. It wasn't Russian hackers.
I mean,
And
it's
those
possible.
emails absolutely expose him as being a pedophile.
Mm.
There's just no two ways about it. Those emails, which CNN refuses to report on.
Oh, they did report that it's actually legal for you and I to read, or any American to read those emails. Remember?
Yeah, that was Governor Cuomo's brother.
Of course.
I think that was Chris Cuomo.
It's illegal to possess these stolen documents. It's different for the media. So everything you learn about this, you're learning from us.
It was Chris Cuomo.
Isn't it funny how all of these deep state criminals are in these positions of power? You got Governor Cuomo celebrating the abortion on demand bill and lighting the World Trade Center spire pink in celebration of killing babies. And then you've got his brother, Chris Cuomo, on CNN saying, you can't read the emails, it's illegal, so we'll read them for you.
Unbelievable.
And cover up the truth. And now they have a willing accomplice.
Trafficking kids, raping kids, and torturing kids. Yeah.
Yeah, and now they have a willing accomplice in YouTube who will bury this video. Do you know that you and I have never done an interview that's gotten less than 150,000 views? This one will probably be capped at 50,000 views. I hope I'm wrong, but their algorithms seem to be working. So that gets me back to what I wanted to talk about, and that's these thief channels that are stealing your content. But before I do that, again, when will the real arrests happen? Because we got Donald Trump tweeting out on January 31st, Nellie Orr, the wife of DOJ official Bruce Orr, was long ago investigating for pay, GPS Fusion, members of my family, feeding it to her husband, who was then giving it to the FBI, even though it was created by ousted and discredited Christopher Steele. Illegal witch hunt. It is an absolute witch hunt, and we're all fed up with it. We're as fed up with this fake Russiagate witch hunt as we are with the abortion on demand.
It's gone on too long, and I was sensing and hoping that the arrest would happen around Christmas time at the end of last year, and they didn't. So I was very down and depressed about that. But they need to happen this year, and if they don't happen before 2020, President Trump's going to lose support. He promised that he would take Hillary Clinton down. He said that he would assign a special prosecutor to investigate her crimes. We haven't forgotten. We want to see justice for real criminals. We know these people are torturing children. They're raping kids. They're ripping their body parts apart. They're selling their organs on the black market. I mean, they are doing the most horrific crimes against humanity on children. And it's unacceptable. And President Trump needs to make sure that his DOJ goes after the real criminals. And if he doesn't, which I know he will, I trust him, and he's never let us down. But they need to do it before 2020, because I believe if he doesn't, then he's going to lose support. And people are just going to get fed up. And honestly, people will start taking to the streets. I mean, I'm ready now to physically go to John Podesta's house and drag him out of his house.
Well, I'm all for citizen arrests at this point.
And so am I. And that's why, people are, it's just, this is dragged on for too long. We need to start seeing arrests of the real criminals. And I just pray to God that they happen really soon, because if they don't, I think that so much is coming out about the sex trafficking, what they do to kids. We are going to start seeing vigilante justice, and that could get really dangerous, and that could cause a civil war in this country. I mean, it's hard for me to sleep knowing what these people are doing to children. These people should not be roaming the streets. They are killing children. They are raping children. It's so frustrating. And to, knowing what I know, and, I've exposed a lot of these people, so they've lashed out and attacked me, like Chrissy Teigen and stuff, and it's like, I freaking go to Target and I see Chrissy Teigen's face everywhere and her products, and I'm just like, you just can't get away from these monsters. And it's I'm so sick of seeing them. I'm so sick of seeing them. And you're right. It needs to happen sooner than later. So I just pray that, that they don't drag this out any longer, because it's gone on for too long, and people in the movement are getting really fed up and they're getting fatigued.
Yeah, and I'm going to read a couple of tweets here in a second that I want to share with you, because this is now the people that should be in our camp are starting to turn against us, and they're amused by the fact that there have been no arrests. So I'll get to that in a second. But just on that Christy Teigen thing, yeah, it's amazing how, and I don't know about her specifically, you know more than I, but Celine Dion and Jay-Z have sold their souls. Look at Celine Dion, who has more money than she could ever spend. Same with Jay-Z. And look at their clothing lines.
Oh,
Celine Dion's new pathetic androgynous satanic clothing line, and Jay-Z, of course, with his Illuminati all-seeing eye clothing line. These people are sick. And Q is right about that. But I'm getting a little sick and tired of being told to trust the plan when the plan is taking this long to unroll and reveal itself here, Liz. And so I just retweeted that Donald Trump tweet about Nellie Orr, which I read to you. And I asked, where are the arrests of the real criminals? And you should see all of these replies I'm getting from people like Kevin here, who is amused. Well, you know what? He's burned out like we all are. And he's just saying arrests. Trust the plan is a theatrical show. Arrests aren't part of the script. And then this person says, don't you love it when a Q prediction doesn't happen? It's trust the plan. Give me a break. So all of these people are now bemused by the fact that I would ask, where are the arrests?
Exactly.
When I'm actually asking the president, where are the arrests?
And I know that there are people in the movement who have been very pro-Q who have taken a step back because they're very frustrated with how slowly everything's moved, and they're very frustrated that there's been zero arrests. So people are getting really fed up and starting to doubt Q. And so I just pray that Q throws us just throw us one arrest, so we know that we're moving in the right direction here. But there's a lot of stuff going on in February. The records are going to be made public before February 8th on the Steele dossier lawsuit. And what else is going on in February? President Trump has given deadlines to Pelosi. He's given deadlines to China. And we know China is deeply involved with the deep state and trafficking and all that garbage. And then furthermore, the State of the Union's on the 5th. And Joe is then predicting that Ruth's death will be announced on the 9th. So those are I just read off like 4 or 5 major things that are going to be happening in February. So I think that February could be a really explosive month where we actually start seeing maybe an arrests, plural, hopefully, or maybe we'll get the FISA declassified and released. I don't know. But a lot is going on in February. So I haven't given up hope yet, but my faith has definitely been tested a lot these past few months.
Yeah, you and me both. Okay, so we'll wrap it up and talk about this specific thief channel, which I despise. The name of the channel on YouTube is The Truth. And I'm calling it out, guys, not so you'll support it, but so that you won't support it. They have created there's a cottage industry on YouTube of stealing interviews that you do, Liz, and then re-uploading them, labeling them as new, even though they're 6 months old or a year old in some cases. And then these channels are able to monetize them. In this specific channel, The Truth, stole 3 separate clips from interviews you and I did, labeled them new, and then got monetization on all of them. And when I contacted YouTube to issue copyright strikes against those 3 to get them taken down, that should have been enough to take the channel down, but it wasn't. The channel's still up, still monetized, and still stealing your conversations and getting ads on them.
Were the videos taken down at least?
Yeah, the videos were taken down after a week. It took extra long. I don't know why. And then the channel remained up, even though it is stealing content and monetizing it.
You know who runs this channel?
No, I don't. But he shouldn't be supported by anybody who cares about Liz Crokin.
What's frustrating me is that I was telling you earlier is that what some of these channels are doing is they're stealing my videos, and they're playing everything I say verbatim, but at a certain point in the video then they play music so you can't hear what I'm saying. So they're stealing my content and they're putting them on channels that make it appear that their channel's run by me. So my followers get excited and they think that there's a new video that I've posted, and it's not a new video, it's an old video. And then when I start talking about the good stuff, they play music. So I think it's a deep state account that's trying to take people away from my real channel to go to that channel. And then when I start talking about the good stuff, naming names and exposing people involved in the child sex trafficking and whatnot, they play music over me. So they're stealing my content, monetizing off of my content, and then they're censoring me. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think some of them are deep state accounts, because why would YouTube allow them to stay up after they're
Exactly.
called out for doing what they're
Exactly.
doing?
And that's another thing, Sean. When you search me, these accounts come up before any of my stuff does. It's like, it's so frustrating, you know. And I've filed complaints about some of them. I'm trying to get some of these videos taken down, but I don't want to have to spend all my time. There's so many videos. I don't want to have to spend all my time doing it. It's so time consuming, you know?
I do know, because in the case of the 3 that thief stole from interviews of mine with you, what he does is he'll take 14 minutes out of a 30 or 40-minute conversation. So YouTube makes you go in and find in your original interview the exact start point and the exact out point, and then they have to match the stolen content. So that takes a lot of time to comb through a 30-minute interview to find out where exactly he began the stealing and where the stealing ends. And I did it, but it's a pain in the butt. And these channels should not be supported, folks. That's all I wanted to tell you. If you're not seeing Liz's interviews on her own YouTube channel, or in the case of this one on my YouTube channel,
Just so people know, from now on, every interview I do, I'm going to post on the social media outlets I have left. Twitter, obviously, I was shut down, but on Instagram and my Facebook page, I'm going to post every interview I do. So only go to interviews that I post on my YouTube channel or that I post on social media. So I'll promote this interview, for example, on Instagram and Facebook. If I don't promote it, then don't click on it. So, but it's so frustrating, you know. It's just everything that we do. It's, you know, whether it's trying to make money off of telling the truth, it's, you know, trying to get the truth out there without being censored, you know, trying to tell the truth without getting completely shut down. I mean, I had 100,000 followers on Twitter, and just all that was taken away. They didn't even give me an explanation, you know, and I'm discussing my legal options now with my lawyers. But again, it's so time consuming to file a lawsuit and to do all that stuff. We are, you know, people that tell the truth, it's just, we are constantly swimming upstream. It's like one step forward, 50 back. And it's just so exhausting. It's so exhausting to be in this fight. But I don't know why we still do it. I mean, it's not fun.
You know, they're really putting us through the ringer. And you know why YouTube had to change those algos? Not only were they getting pressure from Soros Media Matters and the ADL and, you know, God knows who else. They had to do it because I made this point in a recent video about this whole thing. Look at Mark Dice's channel. YouTube channel. Mark Dice's YouTube channel is 1.5 million subscribers. MSNBC on YouTube only has like 1.49. Mark Dice, a guy who can make videos in his apartment that people actually want to watch, has almost as many subscribers as a $1 billion company employing hundreds of people.
Have they demonetized him? Because I know they've messed with him.
No, but they've messed with his view counts. He used to get,
So frustrating. Before we go, I'm going to leave on a positive note here. This is a really big deal. No one's covering this in the mainstream media. This made my week last week. So there are court records that came out. So President Trump's DOJ, United States, shut down Backpage because they were trafficking children. So there is a court case, United States versus Backpage. Backpage, again, was shut down for trafficking children. They were trafficking children globally, all right? But the case is based here in LA, in California. It broke the other day that according to a new filing in the United States versus Backpage case, there were a bunch of bank accounts tied to this case, tied to this child sex trafficking case that were frozen. Guess what? One of the bank accounts that was frozen in the Backpage case for child sex trafficking was Hillary Clinton's law firm, Perkins Coie. Okay? That is huge. So there is a bank account that Perkins Coie owns. They had $2.9 million in this bank account. It was a U.S. bank account, and it was frozen in the United States versus Backpage case about child sex trafficking. And so, again, the mainstream media isn't covered. Can you imagine, seriously, if President Trump's law firm had a bank account frozen in a case about child sex trafficking, it'd be all the media would be talking about right now. No one's talked about this. No one's covered this. But, you know, I have gone over and over and over how Hillary Clinton herself is a pedophile, and the Clinton Foundation is trafficking kids and has been trafficking kids, and they have been trafficking kids for a very long time. And there's tons of evidence out there to support that. And this is just one more thing. This is a court record, a court document that just ties her to child sex trafficking again. So there are things going on. And, you know, the fact that this bank account was frozen is a really good sign.
Yes, it is. Well, all right. Thanks for rounding out the conversation with some good news, Liz. I really appreciate it. Appreciate all you do. So we can't find you on Twitter now. What's the best way to follow you?
Yeah, just Instagram, Liz Crokin at LIZCROKIN, and Facebook, and then Gab too. I think I'm Liz M. Crokin on Gab. So it's LIZMCROKIN. But I'm actually verified on Gab, which was really cool. They verified me right away. I didn't even have to ask. So that was nice. So even my YouTube channel.
All right. Well, appreciate all you do, Liz. Thank you so much for your time. You look great.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming on. And guys, thank you so much for your support. We very much appreciate it. And just a housekeeping note, you'll never miss a video from me if you just go to sgtreport.com once a day, because regardless of when I post a video, my latest 3 videos are always stickied at the top of SGT Report. So no matter what YouTube does with the algos, you don't need YouTube to find my videos. Just go to sgtreport.com and you'll see my latest, always stickied at the very top. Guys, thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it very much. Love you, Liz.
Love you too. And take a break. I think you need to take a break. I think you need to get back. Take a break. If you don't take breaks, you will go crazy. I've had to take breaks. I'm going on a vacation soon. Take a break.
You're right. We need a mental health break every now and then.
Get outside, do stuff with the family.
Yeah.
It's important that you do that. You got to take care of yourself, because this stuff is just so dark and awful. And if you don't take care of yourself and take a break, then it's just not healthy, you know?
I totally agree. And we very much appreciate you and all you're doing out there. And guys, thank you so much for your support. We very much appreciate it. And for real news 24/7, visit us at sgtreport.com, thelibertymill.com, and thephaser.com. God bless. Bye-bye.
When you use Google, do you get more than one answer? Of course you do.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that's a bug.
Yeah.
We have more bugs per second in the world.
There
Because
are.
we should be able to give you the right answer just once.